Hello everyone, my name is Aries Bermudez and I'm here to talk to you guys about film audience. To do that, I want to talk to you guys about the film An American in Paris. I won't be talking about the film per se, but I will be talking about how the film audience would differ between a 1951 one when the film was released and how our audience now would see it. See, I like to think of film watching as looking out through a window, in a sense. The question is, do I shut the window down because I'm not interested in what I see, or do I keep the window up and see something that interests me, in a sense? One thing that I like to help me with is using Stuart Hall's encoding and decoding theory. Stuart Hall believed that filmmakers encoded meaning into their films. They use codes and conventions. Codes were how the setting was made, how we like to see, how we see the film, in a sense. Like we like to think of, we see Paris and we immediately think, oh, city of love, city of romance, and we see dancing and music and lighting. It's all a romantic setting, in a sense. Conventions is what we more expect of the film. Like, what's the one thing that you expect from a musical, right? Musicals usually have happy endings, or big finishes, or dramatic events, or misunderstandings. Those things happen a lot too. Those things happen with Jerry and Henri when they find out that they don't know that they're dating the same girl. But anyway, nowadays with the decoding process with Stuart Hall is that the audience interprets it differently. The reason that they decode it differently is because the audience depends on its background, its time, the time period we see it, and what the film is targeting to, in a sense. Like nowadays, everything is all about everybody's case. Men, women, non-binary, different backgrounds of different people. Now, but in 1951, everything was all about the male gaze, in a sense. Here's an interesting example that I saw myself to. Milo and Lisa. Lisa is the leading lady, and Milo is the boss of Jerry, our leading man, in a sense. Now, Milo is a more desirable love interest, but Jerry isn't interested in her. See, Milo is more independent. She has a successful job. She's make more money, and she sees something in Jerry. She likes him, and she wants to help him succeed. So she introduces him to people, helps build an art studio, etc. But Jerry doesn't like her that way. He even comes off as rude, in a sense, as showing that he's not interested. The reason that this happens is because in 1951, people saw women like Milo, as intimidating. They used to think of her as an obstacle that the main character sees, that when they surpass it, they lead to the leading lady, Lisa. But a modern audience would be more sympathetic to Milo because she is the type of leading lady that we can see too. Another thing about the modern audience is that we have different technology than we did back then in 1951. That's something. Now, when I was watching the film, I kept thinking about the big finale. You know, the big ballet thing where we see Jerry dancing with all of the cast on this setting where it all shows a whole lot of dancing and a lot of interpreted paintings from people that inspired Jerry in the story. Now, nowadays we can skip stuff like that if it comes too long for us, because Who wants to? Who we don't know how the story ends. We want to know how it ends. We don't want to sit here watching the rest of this musical number. But back in 1951, there was no option for that. Everything you had to watch the whole thing from beginning to end. There was no skip button or anything, which leads us to see that that the way an audience sees things depends on a lot of factors: our ethnicity, our time, or basically who the film is targeting to. Musical lovers, maybe, in a sense. What do you think? What exactly comes to your mind when you watch a film like this? Now, the way I see it, filmmaking like that is looking out the window. Do I keep it open, or do I just slam it shut if I'm not interested? Now, personally, the film is very beautiful. It's very beautiful. The storyline doesn't make much sense, but the choreography in it, it's definitely worth their Oscar nomination. That's true, and that's true back then as it is now. But in my opinion, in a modern society opinion, it's a bit romanticizing for Paris, which makes sense for back then. People love Paris. They still do. People think of Paris and think of love. That's what I think. That's why this film is more pursued. It's what people want to see. And it's basically a hook for musical lovers. Anyway, thank you for listening, and I hope you guys think more on what I said. Make your own theories, and try out the movie for yourselves. That's all I'm going to say. Thank you.